let's go to hard mode. Okay, so what if we try and do something that I don't know how to do?
Yeah.
Okay. I want to play with this spatial understanding one. I think this is interesting because I want to see what that is actually doing. Okay, so spatial understanding. Is there a documentation here?
Well, I guess that's just, I suppose it goes back to, is this for Peter or is this for a small business owner?
We're going to try and find something that's useful here. What could spatial understanding be useful for a small business owner? I mean, my dad's a builder. He could take a photo of a building site. If someone wanted to create a really great YouTube thumbnail, maybe we could ask it for, I don't know, what it thinks about the latest YouTube thumbnail. Let me try and find one here.
I guess one thing potentially, like, I don't know if you've seen these apps that can be used to count objects. Like I remember years ago seeing it, you could take a photo of a stack of timber and it will be able to count how many pieces of timber are on that pallet or that kind of thing. Yeah, that could actually be useful for someone in the construction game.
That I like the idea of. Now,
with that spatial.
What I want to know is, like, how do we... Oh, here we go. Okay. So it's found itGenius, office hours. So that's just kind of like labeled things. It hasn't picked up the human, 2D bounding boxes, segmentation masks. Show me positions of items, humans. Interesting. Okay. 3D bounding boxes. I don't know what that is. Okay. Show me points. Don't know what that is. Segmentation masks. Don't know what that is. Okay, well, I guess 2D bounding boxes. Okay, so shall we use a palette? Palette. Let's get like, items on palette. Here we go. Let's see if we can count how many bricks are on here. All right, let's put that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All right, let's upload. Okay, show me the position of bricks with each one. Label it brick. Did it work? It doesn't really show or give me a heads up if it's worked or not. I don't know, man. I don't have heaps of context. I don't have heaps of confidence on this one.
No, this seems, well, by bounding boxes, I think this sort of seems to be identifying objects, not so much doing image processing or calculations or anything like that.
Yeah. Okay. Oh. Ooh. Okay. Stacks of pallet. You know, that's not bad. That's not bad. 2D bounding boxes. So, I mean, it's hard to know like what it's completed and what it hasn't completed. Oh, that's interesting. So I mean, I still don't know what we're doing with this for small business owners.
Well, yeah.
But obviously you can send something to this programmatically and it's going to do this for you. And I guess then it's going to give you like a list of the items in some kind of format that you can give back. What my curiosity immediately goes to is like, what Zapier endpoints are available with Google AI Studio? Because if you have Zapier, most small business owners can work out Zapier. It's pretty straightforward to do. So if we go Zapier, let's go ahead and log in. Oh no, I'm going to have to use an email login. And of course, it's going to ask me for something like two-factor. Let's go explore apps. Okay. Google AI Studio. Why is that taking so long? Hello. That's bizarre. Oh, here we go. Just says Gemini integrations. Now you're going to tell me what you can do with Gemini. Okay, so you've got to pair it with, let's say, Google Spreadsheet. Application error, client side. Whoa. Here we go. Here we go. Choose an action. Conversation or send prompt. So I'm curious if this will actually have like all of the operators here. Like, can I send it an image? Because it doesn't seem to be clear. Let's say, I don't know, maybe I want to talk to use a Google form. Oh boy. Okay.
Working.
So we have conversation or send prompt. Surely there must be more events configured for that. So now we're going into the territory of outside.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna have to switch. I'm gonna have to switch to my other screen now while I do my two-factor. All right, let's do that.
Like once you're starting to use Zapier, then we actually start to get to something useful. So a number of things could be like Slack was one example there. So if you find yourself, or particularly as a small business owner, if you find yourself being able to leverage ChatGPT or one of those tools quite effectively, it comes down to, do other people know how to use those? Could the results you get out of using ChatGPT significantly come down to what you put into it. So you yourself, who knows how to use it, it's easy to know what you're doing, put the right text in, know the right prompt, and get the right result that you want. For someone who doesn't understand how to use it or know what prompt to use, it can be very difficult. So that's, in particular, I know with ChatGPT, this is where I use one of the things I use OpenAI's backend for, and I'm sure we can do the exact same thing here through Google Studio, where you as a business owner, you put that very detailed prompt in, explaining everything you need it to do, what input it's going to get, and what output you expect it to do, and you give a lot of detail on that output. That is something that you can then give to your employees to then use, and you could, let's say, wire that up to Slack. So within Slack, you can have a Slack channel where someone pastes in an email. It then formats it, gives the right email, and it gives the right response back. Or if let's say you're setting up new products on an e-commerce website, you can put in a brief description, or you can even have the person write all of the description, the way that you want, and you have Gemini format it to have the same consistency across the entire website. There's things we could do that with Slack, or with Excel, or with the Google Sheets or the Google Forms. We can have it when let's say you have a new customer on board, that automatically gets a new row in a Google Sheet that can then trigger an action within Gemini, and that could be automatically creating an onboarding email or creating a new task. So in Monday.com, you could have it automatically take that customer details, generate some information, save it as a task in Monday, and assign it to someone. That's where we can start to create some of those automations. Yeah.
And Zapier, for anyone who's not used Zapier before, it can be the brain of all of these automations. If you want something to happen, at a specific time, on like a repeated basis, you can do that. If you wanted to just talk to another app that you're already in, like Google Sheets, Google Chat was great out there, but you can use Google Chat to trigger things through like a web hook, I think. But Zapier kind of sits in the middle, like the glue that connects all these apps together nicely. So I'm noticing here that the endpoint for Google AI Studio only has conversation or send prompt, which sounds like conversation as well, except maybe conversation is data back and forward and send prompt is just like one prompt and then get one response back. I don't know if that send prompt is going to allow us to send an image, although interestingly here, it says show raw prompt. So give the segmentation marks for items, output JSON list. I don't know if this starter app is all that different to just like sending an image to Gemini and then giving that prompt to Gemini. It seems like the same thing.
Yes.
I guess the starter app is like this is the visual front end to what you're doing rather than just getting it back in raw format, right?
It is largely, and that's the thing. You will find effectively what you're doing through this website today is effectively the same as what you'll be doing through the normal Gemini chat interface. The difference being the normal chat Gemini interface, you can only do it there. You're talking there, you're getting a response there, you're uploading images, you're seeing images. You can't do anything else. That's what the Google AI Studio is for. We're basically using this just as a testing. The website we're currently using is basically just for testing those processes that we're trying to develop. The real power comes from the API. So we can have this connected via Zapier, or if we were doing something more advanced, if a software developer within our company who was creating custom integrations for our separate softwares, or if we were developing an iPhone app or an Android app, that's where we can then go, okay, we want to connect Gemini in and make it part of our app. So we don't have to go out to Gemini to use it. We can use those features from inside of our ecosystem.
Now, what would be some of the most basic examples that a small business owner would use? I mean, I find it hard to think of anything that would be outside of plugging into Zapier, having Zapier as a part of your workflow, sending out the response to Gemini and having it come back. For example, one of the workflows we're building at the moment is when we create a video, what we want is for the description of the video to be generated from the transcript. So the team can put the transcript of a video into a field. Now, I don't know if Gemini can actually transcribe videos these days. That'd be wonderful if it can, if I can put an actual video file in there and it pull the transcript. But if not, yeah, we throw the transcript in there and then it will obviously query Gemini and then come back to us and say, okay, here's a description that can go on social media or on YouTube or something like that. That to me is something that's really useful to use the Gemini API for, rather than new video, cut, go to Gemini, paste, grab it, come back, cut, paste, put it back into the app or the system or whatever that you're using. It's just one of those things where it's programmatic. It's a bit easier to do. Or you might say, we've got this long prompt that we want to run every time. Every time you put it in programmatically, it uses that prompt that you've specified. And that's where you mentioned earlier, if someone's the business owner, they might want to dictate what the prompt is and then have the team just kind of do the processing, be the end users of the prompt that they've created.
That's it. Yeah. So like one example, trying to think how I can, trying to think how can I explain this without giving away what my client has done, but a complete separate scenario, the exact same logic, but I'm just, this one is let's call it a resume business. So let's say your business is perfecting people's resumes. What you might want to do is on your WordPress website, you might want to have a rate my resume feature on there. So someone can upload their resume and they can get instant feedback on, is it good, is it bad, how can I improve, what's that resume like? So what we would do here, this is where it gets very technical, but you would write a custom plugin for WordPress that then connects through to Google AI Studio. And within the AI Studio, you have a custom prompt in there, which you tell it, okay, you're going to receive a PDF resume. You need to analyze the resume. You need to give it a rating out of 10. And I want you to give it 10 bullet points on how can it be improved. It will then export that as JSON. Your custom WordPress plugin receives that JSON. It then displays that within the web page, and it might blur out the last 8. It'll show the first 2 bullet points on how can you improve. It'll blur the last 8, and it says, hey, if you want to find it, so at least it's giving you a bit of feedback it's giving you a bit of a teaser there to go, oh, okay, yeah, I can see where my resume can be improved, but I need to sign up or, do something to be able to get the rest of it. You could use that easily as a lead generation strategy there.
I love that. I love nerds that are also capitalists. It's such a good mix. I like that. And if someone wanted to achieve something like that without cutting code, it's probably possible to have like a WordPress membership plugin. And with the WordPress membership plugin, you could use a file upload feature. There's some forum apps and stuff you can connect to WordPress. Zapier would certainly be able to pick up a file that was uploaded. If they've got a link to Zapier, you could then run that in Zapier, the query against Google AI Studio using what we saw here was the action of conversation. So you would say, right, take this file, read this file, send this file over here, and then you'd get the results back, and Zapier would be able to place that maybe in a comment, in a forum, in the members area, or some way you could share it. Now, could you have the fancy 10 bullets with 8 blurred out and a payment gateway to unlock the rest? Yeah, it's getting a little bit tricky to get that done, without cutting any code in WordPress, but potentially possible if you really wanted to do that yourself.
I've also for another client done a customer service agent.
What's a service agent? that
basically helping out with,
we should explain,
emails, Facebook inquiries, Instagram messages.
Oh, customer service agent. Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So that one was quite complex on what I did, but thinking about it now, I do believe there's a way using Zapier that anyone could do that. So if you've got a Gmail inbox, just a generic inbox that is shared across your employees, let's say from your website, you've got a WordPress form, the output of that form goes into Gmail, and we only use this Gmail inbox for incoming inquiries from the website. That way we know we're not having to deal with, is it going to reply to this or not? What we can then do is from Zapier, anytime we receive an email, we take that, we send it into the conversation which we build in Google AI Studio there, we create the prompt, and we engineer into that prompt how we want it to reply, what knowledge it needs to have. We build all of that into there, and then we get it to save that as a draft. Now, instead of our employees having to spend 5, 10, 20 minutes replying to each email, it can generate a draft, and then we read over that. We either send it or we make some changes, add, delete, but at least we're reviewing content and sending it rather than having to write from scratch every time. So that absolutely is a big time-saving feature.
Yeah, love that. And some of that's going to require a little bit of like coding hands, but so powerful to a business. And if you imagine like they've got a team of 10 people or 15 people, who are emailing customers, that's a massive productivity gain for them, right? Rather than doing everything manually or grabbing emails and cutting and pasting. Or, you can use Gemini, which is helpful to an extent as well, but sometimes you want additional context and that makes things better. So
that's the big difference here. So
that's
rather than, we know that we can receive an email, we can copy and paste it into Gemini, we can tell it how we want it to create that reply, and then we can take that output. But this is where the AI Studio comes from. We're basically like templating that response. We are putting the prompt in, and over time we can perfect that prompt and make it better and better. And that way anyone within our team can then use that prompt, or they don't have to go type the prompt in every time, or, everyone else has got different prompts. They'll say it slightly differently, but this is where it's like creating a script. We can program that prompt exactly how we want it, and then it just happens automatically with Zapier. So as soon as an email comes in, it shoots it across to Gemini. Gemini answers, saves it as a draft, and it's automatically done there.
Nice. We've got 7 minutes, Clint. I really don't feel like we've built something useful. This might be a fail, I don't know, but we found that AI Studio can work as like the stream feature works as like a support type person. That's pretty useful for that. I really want it to watch more that's changing on my screen live, and maybe there's just a button that I need to click. Oh, turn coverage. Let's Gemini send audio and video when speech is not detected. Oh boy. Maybe that's it. Okay, hold on. Let's try again. All right, let's go back to the admin console, right? And I'm gonna pause the microphone, but then I'm gonna say,
I see a screen recording of a Google admin page. Is there anything specific you would like me to focus on?
Okay, so this has worked out. We're here. Yeah, I want to set an automatic bookmark for every one of my staff members that automatically sets bookmarks in their bookmarks bar when they're logged into their Chrome browser on their desktop computer for a Mac or a Windows. All right, so I'm going to put in the initial prompt and then see if we can walk me through the rest. You want to automatically set
bookmarks in the Chrome browser of your staff members when they're logged in, regardless of whether they're using a Mac or Windows computer. Okay. From what I see, you can manage Chrome policies for your...
Would you like me to walk you through? Yes, that's just what I asked for.
Okay, please navigate to Devices in the left navigation menu, then select Chrome, and then Managed Bookmarks. From there, you should be able to add and organize the bookmarks that you want to deploy to your users.
So this
is interesting.
Does that make sense? Managed Bookmarks is not actually... Managed bookmarks is not in the menu. It's wrong. But it also hasn't. Hold on. What if I do the wrong thing? I'll just go back to the dashboard
and see what it does.
No.
Yeah, you think it would apply to you by now, but
I mean, it should pick up that things are changing, right?
yeah.
Okay. So far, oops, I clicked the wrong button. So far, we've not passed the test. This might be our first fail, Clint. We are 1 for 2.
So I think this is part of AI. I think it's very early days and very limited on how it can actually be useful. I think, yeah, content generation is definitely one area it can help with, whether that is writing tweets or blog posts or, helping to write the captions for your Instagram posts or anything like that. Or the other one is with emails. So I actually do think that could be a useful case for a lot of businesses there, like particularly any business who deals with customer service. So if they were to route their customer service emails into Gemini, have it draft a response, that absolutely can save hours and hours every single day for people who are just spending their days replying to customer service.
Yeah.
I think the big one is to not automate. I don't think people should be automating it yet, but drafting those responses, that is an absolute time saver. If someone can jump into a reply, they can read a message from a customer, see what the auto-generated draft was, and they can go, oh yeah, that's mostly right. I'll just change 1 or 2 sentences or change the tone of it or add a little bit of extra context or extra information. But at least 70% of that email is already written for them, and that there is a massive time saver.
Yeah.
That literally does transform to a number of hours, potentially each day saved. Like some of the businesses I've worked with, they save over 25 hours a week in AI automations that we've set up for them.
Absolutely agree, Clint. Like doing things the slow way first, using the tools, even if it's like cutting and pasting in, it's so easy to design this grand system and then it never gets implemented because it takes so much energy to get it done. And I'll share an example of that I just drew up for my team. I have this desire to have our YouTube videos automatically have a correct UTM added to the bottom of it so we can track what are people interacting with on our channel and what turns into conversions for our business, which is obviously pretty important for us as marketers.
Yep.
And this sequence can all be done back and forward with 2 fields in Asana that then go up to a YouTube that's uploaded into YouTube Studio, and then from YouTube via Zapier. And then from YouTube Studio, we need to grab the video ID and bring it back via Zapier and put it back in Asana. And then from there, we need to take that and combine it with some other stuff, and we need to push it back to YouTube Studio because we need to upload a video on private, get the video ID, and then put that back into the UTM link because we want to track the video ID because the title might change, but the video ID will always stay the same. And then we want to update a redirect. Oh, there we go. We've had our timer go off. Then we want to update a redirect, and we want to use Cloudflare's API for that. And all of this might take, a month or 2 for an engineer to build in his spare time. Because of course, all of my projects go slowly. I never get mine. All our customer projects go fast, but mine go slowly. Yet I can give my team that set of instructions and say, hey, for now, you're going to cut and paste. You're going to do this manually. You can still use the tools to get this done if you need to say, do a description and timestamps and this and that. Okay, you can still put the transcription into Gemini and get the timestamps generated and then cut and paste that into the description that's going to go in the video that's going to be uploaded. That can be done manually. And then the team, once they've built this magical, amazing system in 2 months' time, then we can take it live. Then you can go live with it. But don't wait to build the perfect system to take things live, because particularly those with like an engineering type mindset or a systems mindset, it's so easy to get caught up in that, right? Building the perfect system rather than just doing it.
No, that's it. It's always best to break it down as small as we can and just start getting value as soon as you can. Like every individual step that you can automate saves time, saves money. So you can start getting a return from it. That's obviously better. But no, I think that there's a lot that can be done with AI, but it is still early days, and how you can actually do it yourself. Zapier is definitely a big help.
Yeah.
With Zapier, you are literally writing code. But if people can, get their head around Zapier, which is really quite simple. I think if you have a Gemini window open and what you were doing there, where it's watching your screen
and you're talking through it, right? That should theoretically help you get it done.
Exactly right, because it's not difficult, but it can be overwhelming at the start.
Yeah,
and you're just sort of blankly looking at it, going, I don't understand how this works, and it can be very frustrating. But once you start to do your first couple of zaps and you start to get things going, then it starts to click and you see, okay, I see how this works, I understand that. And then you start to get ideas, okay, I can automate this with Slack or with Sheets or, any sort of other thing. Or when I generate an invoice in Xero, it triggers something else. There's so many things you can do. A lot of it comes down to your imagination and what you can do. But I think the big part is looking at what is it that we're doing in the business that is repetitive. If there's repetitive tasks, they can probably be automated.
Absolutely. You mentioned being creative. And I think every business owner should build 1 or 2 zaps just so they get how it works. Like take something from a spreadsheet and put it in an email, or take something from your WordPress website, a lead form, and put it in a spreadsheet, or put it in your Google Chat or something like that. That's easy. But then I think the only job of a business owner is to be able to get a piece of paper and draw a process, snap a photo, and then delegate it. That's your job. Your job is not to actually build it. Your job is to get someone to build it. Wouldn't be doing our job if us as consultants didn't say, that's where you click the link down below and you chat to our team and you say, hey, I've got this pretty picture. Can you guys build it for me? So itGenius builds apps. We build automations. We build and stuff that'll talk to APIs. Some of the stuff that we can't do or we don't do, Clint can take care of that. But yeah, you can get in touch with our team down below. Let us know what kind of project you're working on, what you want to build. Primarily, we work with Google Workspace. So we tend to work with apps or tools or services that are in the Google ecosystem. But we're a Microsoft partner as well, so we can support other applications. We've done a lot of work on Google Script, GCP, not so much on AWS services. Clint, what's your experience with AWS? Have you done much on AWS, or are you more Google guy?
No, absolutely. For the larger projects, AWS is great. But the smaller projects, the small automations,
scripts and API connectors and that kind of thing, Google's the place.
Absolutely.
Right?
I've got dozens of systems I've built where it'll be something simple like after the weekend we want to have a look at sales in a cafe and then transfer that into our CRM. What bookings happened, or looking at how many clients came in for each booking, and then we need to put that back into the CRM because the reservation system doesn't talk to the CRM. That's the biggest problem, is that most software doesn't talk to all the other software we're using. And this is where automation comes in, because normally you would have had the receptionist there on Monday copying and pasting that data.
Yeah.
Where the way I look at it is, if we can automate those processes, we can take that person who was doing admin work and put them into a position that actually generates revenue.
Yeah. Please let us know what you think of this broadcast. Drop a comment down below. Would love to know, is there an app that you wanted to demo next time? We would love to jump in. The only requirement really is that it's in some way relevant to small businesses, because our business is all about helping small business owners do more with tech. And of course, let us know what you think and what you want to see next right down below. See you next time.